Hey guys, welcome back to the Blue Collar Future Podcast. I'm your host Jaden Robison, and we've got our co-host Jessie with us here today. Jessie, what is going on?
What's up, man? Just chilling.
Dude, that's a nice plant you got there.
Thanks, dude. It's our corn tree.
Yeah, need to
Yeah,
get me one of them.
it's fun. My mom's had one since it was my dad's friend that passed away, and that thing's older than me. So I was like, oh, I gotta have one in my house too.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We've got random plants around here, but I don't have any fancy plants in my background, so maybe we gotta change that.
Yeah, we're in our little sun area. As you can see, someone's enjoying it.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's a good spot to
yeah,
record.
yeah, dude. Well, you guys went and got Christina a new bike. Y'all are a bike couple again.
Yeah, we're a
That's
gang.
fun stuff. Gang, gang.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna if you want to get initiated, let me know. You gotta have at least two ice cream cones from Little America in Wyoming.
It was funny when you posted that, or wait, you didn't post that. When you sent me that picture or video of the little diner or something you guys were in, or the bar, you were like
Oh
taking my
yeah.
wife to the most country places I can. And it's funny because I was curious where that was because we in Island Park went to a little place that looked almost exactly like that, and I was like, no way he's
Yeah.
there. No way he's there right now. It's just
Yeah.
there's a lot of places that look like that.
Oh
It's
yeah, yeah. We went
classic.
to. It was like for those of you listening, it was T. Joe's in Cheyenne, and it's one of those places you walked in and like everybody else in there definitely knew each other, and so we walked in there like everything's kind of stopped. Everybody looks at you and you're like, "What's up?" Table for like I just here for a steak. It was fun though.
We love going to those little like backcountry diners. We went up to Lava Hot Springs a few years in a row for our anniversary and stayed in these like grain bin turned Airbnb things.
Uh huh.
And we would always go to this little diner in town early in the morning, and it was the same people there. I can't remember if we did it 2 years in a row or 3 years in a row, but it was the same people sitting at the
The
same
same.
table both years we went there. And I almost like when we walked in, I was like, "We're
What's up,
back
boys?
again, a year later.
That's how
Nothing to see here."
Angie's in town and here in Logan is that way. It's like the same four dudes have been sitting at the countertop their whole life. Like,
I've been a part of this group of people, and it's kind of fun. When I worked on a little farm, we those guys go to the same diner here in town, Moore's on 1900, and then it was
hmm
kind of a couple different places, but they'd go there. I think the core group would be there every single day, and one of the guys like had a box of cereal at the place he brought to the place, and they would give him milk and fill up his bowl of cereal and give him a coffee. I'm like, wow, that's
that's
pretty.
awesome.
Yeah, just go into the diner and eat you a bowl of cereal with some coffee. But they would go eat breakfast and lunch Saturday and Sunday, both days, like full meals. And
Oh
that's
wow.
an interesting life to be a part of. The farming life, going to those
Yeah.
little country diners. It's
There's
fun.
a yeah, Grandpa and a couple other like contract other people. When I was a kid, would always meet it. There's the Chevron right here that has
Mm,
it's got a taco time in it, but the taco time's not open
yeah.
until later. And so they'd always get their coffee and sit there, and it'd be every morning you went in there, those old boys were in there, like two tables worth of them, and like it's cool. Like the fact that they keep social and stuff like that is really cool.
It makes me feel old because sometimes I feel more at home like that than with them old guys than I do with people my age. It's pretty funny.
Yeah,
I feel like an old
you
soul.
guys had the same bedtime.
We do, dude. 9 o'clock rolls around and I'm like, all right, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get to bed. It's like a wall hits me. I can't tell you how many times we've been sitting on the couch, like, and usually I put my phone up so I don't know what time it is and I don't have like a clock near me. And we'll
Yeah,
either be watching TV, a show, or I'll be reading or something or whatever it is, and I'll be like, "What time is it? I feel tired." And then my wife will tell me it'll be like around 9 o'clock, and I'm like, "I knew it. I could tell. I could
yep,
feel it.
yep.
Hit a
That
wall."
that meme I shared of the dude from Ball's Burgers who was like this, just asleep, like on the couch. That's yeah.
Dude, I have a couple pictures from friends that have taken pictures of me that I've been over at their house late or something, and I'm like passed out. like
Hmm.
snuggling with my water bottle or something, and it's like 10 o'clock. I'm like, it's always been like that.
Yeah.
But no, that's quite the tangent we got here. What have we got us a Q&A episode, RFI,
Yes,
request
sir.
for some insight from us. And I guess we should just jump right into it before we keep talking about country diners and going
Yeah.
to bed early. So,
Yeah. You and I would be good at the bar. We just do this all day.
hey, this is where I get it from. I've had plenty of it. Plenty of the bullshit.
But yeah, let's get into it, Doug. What do we
Yeah,
got
dude.
today?
So our first question was fielded from your Instagram, and the question was, how should the white collar guys take care of the laborers on the job? Now, you had a pretty simple response to that, and you can tell us what that is.
Yeah. So this comes from my brother-in-law, who's an estimator for a company down in Salt Lake. But he wants to be better about some things, right? He's been pretty good about that, of like asking me questions of like he doesn't want to just be the office guy like that comes out on the field with the shiny hard hat. He wants to be good. And I didn't even respond to it on my story. I just posted a video of the salesman from Sunrock brought like 30 tacos, like from a place in Brigham called Yakimelli's. It was delicious. But he just showed. He's like, "Hey, I just want to like show appreciation for you guys," and so he brought the whole crew food, and that always goes well.
That's a lot of meals.
Yeah, yeah. So it's you bring stuff like that's always good, but it's a kind of like what we talked about on a deeper level is you've got office guys that are connected and office guys that are disconnected from the field, and it's like that PM I've been dealing with is one of those dudes that's like never done this or like been in the field. He just has worked in an office, and it's just kind of like you run into those guys that kind of feel like they're better than the guys in the field, and then you run into the ones, even in his situation, where it's like they know that it's a symbiotic relationship, and then you run into the dudes that have like, oh, I just did this my whole life, and they won't let me retire because I know too much, and so now they've moved me into the office, and they know exactly what's going on out in the field, and you can come into their office and like, hey man, we got this and this going on. He goes, cool, he's seen it before. It's like, oh yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
understand that. Do what you can. Versus the like, I guess what I'm getting at is you've got the dude that's like, do what you can, get it done. Versus like, well, now we need to make an RFI about this and like 100 other things because that's what my book said we got to do. Uh, the long, that's a long-winded way of getting to what I was getting to, but
Yeah.
I think one of the things that the white collar guy or the office guy can do to treat the guys in the field better is to just meet them where they're at. Like you know something that I don't know, and I know something that you don't know, and if we both understand that, like we both understand that we're all headed toward the same goal of getting this job done together and getting it done well, that relationship is going to go a lot smoother. And of like, if we both meet each other here rather than like here or some variation of this, if we're both here, that's the best way to get something done. Because like I said, you have a skill set and I have a skill set, and the other guys in the field have a different skill set, and it's like if we understand that all those things work together and we meet each other at that same level, that relationship is kind of more grounded in respect, and communication can be a lot more clear, and it's like we can work together versus like someone looking down on the other.
Yeah. I would have to agree with a lot of that. And one thing I wanted to add and expand on, I think, is a lot of people that are in construction are really blue collar anyways. I think it depends on the level of your company. If you're in a big company, a lot of times sales guys, yeah, they're 100% in the office. And most of the time, if you're in a sales position, you would be. But a general contractor, I would still consider to be blue collar. I know a lot of contractors that we work for that are out doing work still. So
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of an interesting distinction there because a lot of people act like a general contractor isn't.
Mhm.
Just because you do work in an office sometimes doesn't mean you're 100% white collar, blue collar, whatever. I think it's important to make that distinction. And this question would really only be coming from someone that hasn't really been in a blue collar position. But I think the cool part about our industry is you can be the laborer and then move into sales or move on to like, you know,
Hmm.
becoming the general contractor or the office guy. And I think that's what's really cool about it, because a lot of the salesmen for Geneva, the concrete company around here, and even Parsons as well, were
Hmm.
either concrete guys before, or they drove the concrete trucks, and then they moved on into sales. And then it's like they have a better and easier connection with all of the guys than somebody that just kind of comes at it from a distant,
Hmm.
unrelated field or with no experience in it. So I think having that experience is really good. But really, like you said, it just takes talking to them and making the connections. Showing appreciation, having some patience, and realizing that it's not all perfect, and it's not all as perfect as it would look on paper on the job
Hmm.
site. It takes visiting the job site to know what they need, and maybe even it's a simple question of, "How are you guys doing? Do you need anything?"
Yeah.
And a lot of blue collar guys really like hoodies. You could give them a hoodie, and a lot of times
Yeah.
that tides them over, or a hat or something. Like little simple things like that. But I think it's the connection. Like, so we know a lot of people that are in, let's say, like the project management position, like you were saying, that are like, they pretty much are just office people, but they'll come out on the job, but they don't ever try to come and talk to us, and they just kind of sit in their truck all day. Pretty
Hmm.
much, like, they'll show up on the job, look around a little bit, sit in their truck for a while, be on their phone, and then drive away. And it's like, how hard would it be for you to just get out of your truck real quick, walk around, check on everybody, and maybe even learn a little bit about the processes that you're kind of overseeing right now? Because how are you
Hmm.
supposed to know anything about it? How are you supposed to sell this product if you don't know anything about how it's done? How are you supposed to manage the process if you don't know anything about what your subcontractors are doing? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So, and if you don't know anything about the problems they're dealing with, you can't plan for them. So I
Yeah.
think it's talking to them, having a connection, and some patience and understanding. So
Yeah. And that's last last year and a half, we were on two projects that were in the same fence, right? So same company but different superintendents, different PMs. And the first building, we laid 80,000 brick in 9 weeks, got it all done, knocked it out. It was really simple. The superintendent there was like he used to run the concrete crew, and like so he gets it. He's a good old boy, right? And then we go to the next project, and it's like so you go from him who would literally like walk out and talk to you, like you're saying, and you do the weekly meeting, and he would kind of know what was going on. Versus you go to the next project, and it's just like the easiest way to say it is that PM would walk and like he was the type that would like take a picture and then write an email. He would never say a word to you. I'm like, dude, all you would have to like I had the same problem with a lot of safety people is they're there to like get you in trouble, not to help you. Like
yeah,
you taking a picture and sending an email is not the same as you just walking up and be like, "Hey, dude, you should probably get off that." But I have a struggle with that, so that's a different tangent. But that project man, it was that way. He'd like, "Oh, take a picture. Like this is wrong," and what? But like he wouldn't say it in the moment or while you were building it. It would come as an email the next day, and it's like, well, why didn't you just walk up and say, "Hey, I think you're doing this wrong. Like, why don't we look at this together?" And versus the dude on the building before that would walk around and be like, "Hey, I know you got this and this going on. Like, what's going on here?" And me and him would talk about it and be like, "Cool, like I said, we'll figure it out together." Or like, "Hey, let's call the architect or whatever it is." And then it got to the point even where that dude, like this, they both had younger kids with them that they were kind of mentoring or like watching, and so we're gonna call them like their superintendents, right?
mm-hmm.
And I was walking the other job, the second job, with one of the younger superintendents who I really liked that kid because he would get out and like he was doing the right thing. He's out there. He's actually working a little bit and interacting with everybody. And I remember looking at him. I was like, like, do you think that dude would ever just say thank you one time? And he laughed. He's like, good luck, dude. He's like, he goes, no, that's just his personality. I was like, like at that time we were working 4 10s. Fridays were optional overtime. Saturdays were optional overtime. So it's like some of us were pulling like 60, 70 hour weeks, and not once did that dude ever like, hey guys, thanks for being here. Versus like the other dude that was like stoked that you're there. It's like that sort of stuff goes a long way because like he's just obviously like, nope, you signed up for the job, you're doing it. See ya. Versus like, hey, like thanks for being here. I appreciate you I appreciate you doing what you can to help get this project back on
Hmm.
schedule, or I appreciate you doing what you can to make sure that this gets done on time so that, the building can be used. And just those little micro interactions, go a long way. Because like I said, if that dude had ever once had just said like, "Hey, Jess, thanks for coming in on Saturday. I really appreciate you doing that to help us get forward," it would have went like so much further than like, "Hey, here's an email about you doing it wrong. See you guys." Like that stuff is just it blows my mind that some people don't get that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that would definitely be in my experience, like my recent experiences is like you've got the young kids that are doing pretty good that are coming up through it that are out there working and stuff, but then you have like the guy that went to school and now he's the PM, or you have the older like that dude that's done concrete his whole life and he gets it, and then you have the next PM that's just the office dude, and like there's just two very different ways, and one of them works a lot better.
Yeah.
Like you said, just being out in the field, communicating with everybody, like we're in it together. I think like the office people, if we will, that view it as like we're job site partners, not like I saw a video the other day that was like viewing instead of being subcontractors, your job site partners. Like that, just that mindset
I
shift.
like
Like
that.
this one over here goes way further than like, no, you just work for me, you signed up for this, deal with it. Versus like, oh, we're all working for this to get it done together. Like this one goes just miles further, and like the job goes way better because like I'm bought into this person, right? Like I want to do stuff for the dude that actually walks around and says thank you versus the dude that's like, nope, you deal with it. I'm like, I don't want to be here ever. So like, if you have a problem, let's wait until Monday. Like that type of stuff.
Yeah. That's funny because while you were talking, I wrote down, don't be out to get each other because that's a
Yeah,
common thing. It's
yeah,
like
for sure.
it's always that's the typical response when you've got um, the person that just takes a picture and sends an email. It's literally like they're just out to get you for no reason.
Yeah,
Oh, these guys suck at their job.
that's why the schedule's behind.
That's why the schedule's behind. Exactly. It's like,
Yeah,
no, I mean, you probably could have been on top of it a little bit better if you
yeah,
were there and talking to them. And another
yeah.
thing I wrote down was you can get ahead of problems better if you're doing this communication, getting out, building a relationship with them. So, I mean,
Hmm.
we could probably take everything that we've said down to build a relationship with the guys that you're
Hmm.
trying to take care of better, and that will help you get ahead of issues that could come up, like weird scheduling. I know you guys on a lot of your jobs have scheduling meetings, but
Hmm.
having the extra step of him coming out and talking to you about what's going on and potential problems, because like one of those jobs I remember I drove by one day and I was surprised at how packed in there you guys were, because I think I was about to stop by because it was right off the highway and we were coming back
Hmm.
from Bear Lake, I think, from
Yeah,
a job up there, and I was gonna stop by and I saw the job. I was like,
that's
nope, see
chaos.
ya. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I think I saw like your guys' lift trying to back up in like only twice as much space as it takes
yeah.
up, and then another lift over here like in the way, and it's like a tiny little square that there's like three different subcontractors working in. Um,
Mm.
all overhead stuff. I was like, holy crap, what a mess. And
Yeah.
especially in that situation, you've got to be like out looking and saying, hey, maybe you guys can like go do this over here for a while and let these guys get ahead. Or even ask the guys, what's holding you up?
Hmm.
What's going on? Why is this happening? And maybe come to a solution instead of just pointing fingers at people.
Well, and that job site in particular was like the real time version of that joke of like it takes one woman 9 months to have a baby. What if we had nine women and they all had it for a month and it's done in a month? That was that job site. It's like, well, what if you all work right here at the same time? It's like, no, it doesn't work. What if we
Yeah,
all work away from each other, or like,
yeah,
you know, it's just, and it doesn't matter how many times you go into the scheduling meeting. You're like, oh, I'm going here. It's like, oh, well, we're also going. Like, we're going to put them all right there. It's just,
Yeah.
They're just it's dumb stuff sometimes, and it is what it is. Like I was teasing the PM or the superintendent from our job the other day because we started the brick, and he's like, "Hey, you know, when are you going to be done here?" And I was like, probably an hour. Like we're finishing it up. He's like, "Cool. We're gonna have the excavator come through here and flatten all this stuff." And I was like, "Bro, no one's been over here for 2 months. Why is that happening today?" It's like, did you look that we were working over there and you remembered? Oh yeah, there's an area over there. Like, is it top? Is it just because it's top of mind? And he's a good kid. I really like that kid. So I'm a bit of teasing him. I'm like, bro, you've got a whole job site to excavate. Go do it over there. Like, but I think it was. It just like became top of mind. Like, oh, those guys are like, oh yeah, we have this going on there. Why don't we all do it together? And I'm like, no, just get clear away from me. Like, go over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Stay over there and we won't have so many problems.
Yeah,
It's
but
crazy.
it's like you said, it all comes down to communication and whatnot. And like, if there's kind of what I'm talking about. If there's a little bit of camaraderie between like you and the superintendent or the excavator or like between the crew, it's like we all kind of get along. So it's like, hey, you can like bring it up because it's like, no, you're screwing me, but like we can get through this versus like the other dude. It's like if that had happened, I'd be like, no, you can get the whole like f away from me. I was like, I'm until we're done, get away from me. Versus that, it's like, yeah, I'll move my stuff real quick. Go ahead, go
Yeah.
through there, and we'll come back and we'll do the brick sale. It's yeah. It all comes down to respect, communication, and like an even playing field. Like realizing that none of these job sites are ever going to get built unless we all do it together.
Yeah. Yeah, we often find common themes, and lots of the time it's communication,
Mhm.
just being clear with your communication with each other. And yeah,
Be
there's a lot of,
intentional, communicate, and reverse engineer the product. Yeah, I can go. I can do this every podcast.
yeah, pretty much. Just answer them all the same way.
I clearly have some beliefs about life that
How should the white collar guys take care of their laborers better? Communicate.
communicate.
End of story.
Uh,
So for our next question, we kind of had something that was we touched on a little bit with the last one. Somebody asked on your stories, what should I focus on, new construction or restoration, and then we'll kind of include remodels, add-on type construction in that,
yeah,
for a masonry contractor, right? So
yeah,
we can kind of like expand this to, in general, what should you focus on? And I will start with just saying that there's lots of paths you could take, so I don't think you could go wrong. Like we just mentioned, there's a lot of people that are in, white collar jobs in construction that started off being in, labor positions and just have a bunch of experience, and it really helps later on. So
hmm
I don't think you could go wrong with anything, but we'll answer masonry first and then more of a general question. So
sure, yeah. And the kid that asked, he said he's 21 years old, and he's like, I'm a year into masonry. At the beginning of my career, should I focus on restoration or new builds? And if you guys didn't catch at this point, or from Jaden just barely, I'm pretty simple with a lot of these things. So I was like, dude, do whatever makes you feel fulfilled. Like I can't, if I told you to focus on restoration in Utah, you're going to restore like three chimneys and be out of a job. Like there's just not a lot of old stuff here. And don't get me wrong, there is. I know someone's going to see that and be like, you could do all this. Like, but my brain goes to like if you're going to do restoration, like a place like the East Coast where things are as old as the country, or over in
yeah,
Europe, like the people that are restoring the cathedrals and stuff. Like that's where my brain goes for restoration. And I know that like there's much simpler stuff than that. Um, so that's why I was like, why don't you just do like I don't know your area,
hmm
but why don't you do like whatever one makes you feel fulfilled the most? Like if you getting out there and doing production and creating new buildings and doing all this stuff so that people can use it and whatnot is what just gets your rocks off. Like that is how it is for me. Like I
hmm
love going and putting something up that someone's going to use and like seeing how like that's going to last for a couple hundred years. Or if you feel like you look at it and you're like, gosh, I want to be the one that restores that chimney or brings that house back to life or that sort of stuff, go that route. And like you said, I don't think there's any wrong choice. I just think it comes down to what you look at and you're like, that really gets me excited to wake up like in the morning and like that gets me out of bed is like, oh, I'm going to fix this or I'm going to build that or like that sort of stuff. But I don't think you can go wrong either way. And honestly, like we talked about beforehand, is they kind of go hand in hand. So like if you picked one, you could also go back to the other way, or like you could take the different path, like you were just talking about.
Yeah, like you shouldn't worry about whether or not being in residential masonry versus like on a commercial masonry crew is gonna affect your skill set in a noticeable way,
Mm.
unless you're on a commercial masonry crew that is like only doing block and that's it,
Yeah, yeah.
and you want to go restore old brick houses and stuff like that's obviously different enough that you may have some sort of a problem, but I don't think it would be too bad. Like you're
Hmm.
still getting the same general skill set. So
Hmm.
it, I think if you go a broader application, the question becomes, what should I focus on, like for my future? And it's like figure out what you're most interested in and just chase that, but realize that you can make slight changes and you can work for a company for a few years and get a skill set and then be like, you know what, I'm going to change direction. I want to go over here and do this instead, which is cool because you can do that and there's lots of paths in construction, but it it ends up coming down to having a clear goal. And this is
Hmm.
what a lot of people don't have when they're in construction. A lot of people just kind of like start out in a working somewhere just because and then don't
Hmm.
have any sort of idea where they want to go with it or if they want to do it, or rather they say they don't want to do this forever but they're stuck doing it forever because they're not smart enough to do something else. Like there's all of these things that you hear from people regularly, and
Hmm.
I, if they just get a clearer direction, figure out what they want to do, it becomes really easy to decide. It's like
Hmm.
if you really want to do restoration stuff, you know what? You could probably go find somewhere, move to the place you need to go to, work for the company that you need to in order to do it. But regardless, you still need to have that base level of skills. So, I mean, I would say even if you wanted to, let's say you wanted to be a general contractor, it wouldn't be bad for you to go work on a masonry crew for 3 or 4 years and then move on to something else and make your way to being a general contractor, 12 years down the road or something after you've done a couple things. That's not even a bad path. I
Hmm.
think it's all about what you want to do and why.
Yeah. I
So
think I think that would be cool if like there's a lot of kids or a lot of people that are getting into project management and superintendents and things like that are coming out of school
yeah,
because they're going into a construction management degree and so and it's good. Like don't get me wrong, but I think it would be cool if those degrees required like you did a summer internship for construction business. Like it's go pick something like whether it's framing, concrete, electrical work, masonry, whatever it may be. It'd be cool if they were like, in order to get this degree, you have to go out in the field for at least 12 weeks of your school career, and that way it's like okay, I know that like you've got enough experience that like you guys like shit goes wrong or like what can go right and like that sort of stuff, and then you if you're not going to go dedicate a couple years of your life to learning one of those trades, at least you have like you've touched it and you know that like there's something that goes on in the real world versus like here's the plans, here's how it should be built, this is what my schedule says, it's all on paper, like
yeah.
that sort of stuff. And it's yeah, um that would be cool. And then yeah, I think again it comes back to one of our core themes is like you said is just intentionality of like okay, this is what I want out of my life, this is what I want out of my career, let's reverse engineer it from there. So if I want to be the guy that can restore these really cool brick buildings, what okay, I want to be that guy or that company. It's like how do I get there and reverse engineer it? I want to be the guy that does big commercial projects and does all that stuff, reverse engineer it. Like that's just it's just like you said, it all comes down to intentionality almost every time.
There's a problem with people being in construction and being specialists at what they do, or
Hmm.
like being really good, and then they just get thrown into leadership stuff.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen if you had a clear goal and on what you wanted, and you get offered that, and you're like, no, I don't think so. But I had a cool insight from someone on YouTube that shared what their company does, and they, you have different levels of, we'll say leadership, and calling them, I think they said leadership level 6 and 7 or something. And if you're, you know, not quite there, don't want to move up to the next one, you can move over to a specialist position, and it's like a, you're really good at what you do, and that is your role. You're not just getting like thrown into leadership stuff. I think there's elements of this that everybody can take note on, and it just goes even farther to show that there's a lot of paths. And I think that's a really important message nowadays, when people have been told their whole life that there's no sort of like pathway to success in construction, or there's no like direction that you can go in. It's like a dead end, labor job forever. Like that's all it is. That's what we've been led to believe, right? It's like that's what the general masses have been led to believe, and in general media is like dead end job, beat up your body all day, work yourself to death.
Last resort.
Yeah, last resort, all that. There's lots of pathways. There's lots of ways to be successful, and I personally know a very, very large amount of people that are very successful that are in construction. It's all starting off, doing labor positions. It really comes down to what you do with the opportunities you've been given. So
Yeah, for sure.
all of that.
Yeah, I think that's good because yeah, like you said, we know people that are they start in the bottom and they end up like running their own company, having a high paying job within some large company, being a successful salesman, or like I mean, there's guys that work for he worked for Buxton Masonry down there in Ogden, and now he's got like 100 something patents on masonry products or like little tools that we can use because
That's cool.
he was out in the field and he's like, oh, what if I made this so it works, or like this kind of annoys me. What if I like messed around with it and did this? And like like you said, the world's treated construction as a dead end or like a last resort, and in reality, it's like it's you start here and there's just so many different paths that you can go through it, as long as you're intentional about it and you're like you're not showing up like, well, like I sweep the floor and that's what I do to get a paycheck. It's like cool, like if you're as long as you're intentional and like I want to go this direction, construction will give you every opportunity on the planet to go that direction as long as you take it.
Yeah.
I
I think
like
we
it.
got we got that one good. We got another question that honestly ties in okay with this. Um, what's one mistake that holds most tradespeople back?
Not
You could
communicating and not being intentional.
exactly. You could
Sorry.
find the answer for yourself by the entirety of this conversation. There's a lot of things like
Yeah.
one of the biggest mistakes I think I see is people doing this and going to work every day thinking to themselves that they hate it, but they're not smart enough to do something else, so they're stuck. I think that's
Yep.
probably the biggest one that I see. Now, there's a lot of them. There's not just, you couldn't say what is the one mistake that that holds most tradespeople back. It's like there's a lot of little ones. I think that's a big
Hmm.
one. That's just a really
Yeah.
big one. It's the mentality that a lot of kind of middle-aged guys, maybe not people around my age, but like middle-aged, a little older, maybe a little older than us,
Hmm.
have. It's like they've been doing it for so long, not smart enough. They're stuck in it, and whether or not they make good money doesn't matter because it's like that makes it worse to in their minds. Like I make this money and I can't do anything else to make more money, so I'm stuck and I hate it.
Yeah.
I think honestly telling yourself that you hate it is probably one of the worst things you can do. Even if you really don't like it that much, sitting there thinking about how much you hate this job is literally just going to make you the most unhappy person ever, and probably be
Sure.
one of those people that goes around and takes pictures and sends emails out saying you do shit wrong. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you just hate it. You hate what you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Yeah. You're basically, guys, what Jaden is saying is that the safety guy is a cuck. Like, and that's how he got there.
Dude, most safety guys, I would say, and I would lump inspectors in there. would probably fit in that category. Inspectors, for I've met a lot of inspectors that seem like they're really butthurt that they weren't smart enough to become engineers and they just want to piss people off all the time.
Yeah,
So I don't
they
know.
gotta prove why they have a job.
I don't know, dude. I mean, I know a lot of cool inspectors.
Same,
I also know a lot of dicks that
same.
obviously hate their life, and it like shows in everything they do. It's like, why do it then? Go find something else. Like
Yeah,
that's such a limited mindset, saying you can't do anything else because you're not smart enough or whatever. Like you're putting your own limitations on yourself, and you're just being pissed off to be pissed off.
yeah, 100%. That's I think it's a lot of just what you said and what we've said time and time again is being intentional with, what you've got going on. So it's like if you're gonna sit there and be like, oh, I hate this job, oh, I hate this, or like that sort of stuff, instead of being like, well, how do I get to something that I enjoy? Like, well, what do I enjoy about this? How do I make that my reality? Or like you can either sit and wallow in self pity, or you can look at the opportunities in front of you and figure out how to create what you want.
Hmm.
And that's really it. And like that's a pretty deep, you know, self reflection that you have to do of like
Hmm.
you got to sit and like, okay, what do I want out of my life? And again, reverse engineer it. So if you're going to be that dude that sits there and is like, oh, I hate this, like I was too dumb, so like I couldn't finish school, so now I finished concrete, or like that sort of stuff, and like that's your mentality. You might as well just load the gun again and shoot yourself in the other foot. Like that's just how it is. Versus like,
Hmm.
oh, well, I'm doing like what opportunities do I have in this industry of like
Hmm.
maybe I don't want to finish concrete my whole life, but I think this is pretty cool. Like
Hmm.
how do I use this knowledge to get into sales, or this knowledge to get into being the general contractor, or this knowledge into getting to be the real estate developer, or like just those sort of things. Because like we're in an industry where like education helps, don't get me wrong, and like you can go get certifications and all that sort of stuff, but like you and I both know plenty of people that have done every one of those things that I've listed without like barely graduating high school. Like
Hmm.
they don't know the difference between like ARE and OUR. Like it's
Hmm.
but they're still running multi-million dollar businesses and projects just because they were like, oh, I'm going to go that way because there's an opportunity for it.
Yeah.
And it's just it all comes down to being intentional with your time
Hmm.
and the one life you have here. And like
Hmm.
there's no point in being miserable and just being that dude on site that's like, oh, I hate, and trying to bring everyone down to your level. It's like just if anything, you see those guys on site, you'd be like, I don't want to be like that dude. How do I avoid that? Like you know it's just go find the thing that makes you happy and just run as fast as you can that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, something you touched on right there is it takes a good deal of self reflection, but that's hard. People don't like to
Hmm.
do that. People don't like to
No.
do like any sort of introspective, you know, thoughts. Like people just shove off their
Mm.
out of their mind. It's like, oh no, I couldn't possibly be the one that's causing this or in the wrong here.
I'm not the common denominator here.
No, dude, no, yeah, it ain't my fault. It ain't my fault this
Yeah.
happens every single time.
Yeah.
It's it's hard for people to do, and until you start making a point of doing that, of realizing that could be your fault, and it is, because like
Hmm.
anything that's happening in your life is your fault in one way or another. It's your choices, decisions, and the way you think and act that's led you to where you are. You see the brokest people in the world sometimes being the happiest people in the world, and they're
Hmm.
just freaking happy living in a trailer on in a trailer park, whatever. Like if that's what you love, great, cool. Is let's say we have a weird idea of what success is, and instead of figuring that out for ourselves, it's like it's all based on what other people put on us. So
Hmm.
it I have some more thoughts on that, but I lost my train of thought. What is a mistake you see that holds tradespeople back? 'Cause there's
I
plenty.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just that like it's like showing up and doing, being the person that you don't Like, don't be the person that just shows up and you're just there to get a paycheck. Like, I get it. Some, maybe that's all you want, right? And so I can't put my definition of success onto that person that's just like, nope, I'm just here to go do a job and then I go do other things. But like, it all comes out like you could do the things that you love if you were better, like if you were enjoying what you're doing every day. So it's like my overarching theme of any bit of life advice that I'll give anyone is going back to being intentional with what you're doing. And I've said it time and time again is like you need to look at what you have going on and where you want to be and put the steps in place to get you to that point. And it's like what you're talking about is your account, whether or not you were the responsible party for what's going on in your life, you have to take accountability at a certain point. Like you're the only person that's going to get you out of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's what is Jocko, right? Extreme accountability. If you
Yeah,
need to, go get that audiobook or go
I've got
read
it
it
up
if you're
there.
a reader.
Yes,
Yeah, like
extreme ownership. I don't know. You can't quite see it,
extreme
but
ownership. Yeah.
it's up there.
Um, but yeah, go like that principle of like, regardless of what's going on, it's my responsibility to change it. Like if I don't like what's going on, it's my responsibility to get myself out of that situation. Like there's
Hmm.
whatever you believe, you've got one shot at this. Like this is you're going to spend the next, you know, 60 to, whatever amount of years that you have left out of your life, you might as well be intentional about it and do what you want to do. So don't be the person that shows up at the job site and like, well, I'm just the idiot that pushes a broom around and I'm never going to be anything else. It's like, no, like if there's something like if you want to get into construction and you're like passionate about it and that sort of stuff, show up and figure out like, okay, that's I'm really excited about that. Like even if you're the general contractor's laborer and you see one of the trades doing something, figure out like and you're interested in it, go figure out how to talk to that dude and go like,
Mm.
well, I'm really like I want to go that route. Like I think it's really freaking cool what the electrician does, or like I think it's really cool what the mason or the concrete guy does. Like figure out how to get yourself into that next room and then run it up that way. Or like it's
Mm-hmm.
just don't be the person that shows up and it's like, well, I'm in construction because I'm stupid and at least I get to buy my 30 rack of beer and sit at the house. And that's what it's just like, don't put yourself in a hole and don't do that to yourself, like that negative self-talk or like you're only here because of this. It's
Mm-hmm.
like we've talked
Yeah.
about in this episode and 100 other times is like construction will give you access to whatever opportunity you want, whether it's being a really skilled guy in whatever trade you pick or being the owner or being the
Mm-hmm.
sales guy or being whatever it may be. So I think the biggest mistake is just people show up and they're just not intentional about anything. They're just here because they're going through the motions and that's where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
And the world has convinced them that construction is a last resort and all this other stuff. And it's just not the truth. It's just show up, be intentional, be like curious for sure. Be curious.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's something that gets like really gets you your rocks off, freaking go after it. Like that's don't just sit there and be like, well, I'm here because that's what it is. It's like don't waste your life because you think that like you think little of yourself. Like go figure out those things that you love
Mm-hmm.
and what gets you passionate about and what you're curious about, and then figure out how to go get them. Communicate with
Yeah.
those people, yourself, all that other stuff, and be intentional and just and create that for yourself. Like
Mm-hmm.
don't just go through the motions because otherwise, like, what's the point in dying that early when you're just going through like you could
Mm-hmm.
have a life that you're passionate about,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's completely your choice. You got to find a way to enjoy it, or at least enjoy your life, and not go around carrying this cloud over your head of oppression of I'm stuck doing this job and I
Hmm.
hate it. It's like, well, figure out how to like it, or go do something else. That's like my
Yeah.
least favorite type of person ever, is someone that will just sit there and say that they hate it but they can't do anything else. It's like, what do you mean you can't? Go figure it out. Go do something, or at least figure out how to enjoy what it is that you do to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I agree. Yeah.
I mean,
It's like,
yeah, it's crazy to
yeah.
me.
It's like so many people treat this like it's a toxic relationship and you're like, oh, I can't leave my girlfriend because we've been together for so like don't be that person. Like if you wanna have a good time, go figure your life out and like be intentional about your life and go find what makes you happy.
Yeah, yeah. Figure out how to make it work or dump that ass. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? One thought I had while we were talking about this is there's a lot of kids nowadays, and it's kind of off topic, but not really. There's a lot of kids nowadays that are like, you'll ask them what they want to be, and they're like, I want to be a YouTuber, or I want to be an influencer. And the funny part about that is a lot of them don't realize until later on that you have to actually have skills most of the time or something
Hmm.
interesting to provide. So,
Sure.
I mean, that's always an option that you could look at. Um, Take what it is that you know and start doing something like, creating YouTube videos or something. I mean, do
Yeah.
go out and try different stuff, and it is a pretty easy way, I feel like, to get more interested in what you're doing, because I think part of the thing with me that happened when I started this podcast, and I also had been doing social media stuff, is I almost feel like it accelerated the amount that I liked my job, or that I
Agreed.
liked what I did. Um, I really enjoyed the art aspect and the connections making with people and the camaraderie, not even within our own company, but like within the industry as a whole. So figure out a way
Hmm.
to do that, or figure out some hobbies that you can look forward to or do. And I mean, something as simple as like listening to audiobooks. A lot of people can listen to audiobooks at work, and
Hmm.
if, pass by the time and make that work. I've been listening to audiobooks a lot lately, and I used to be really on podcasts, and that helped a lot. Like,
Hmm.
find ways to make it enjoyable, and I think you start changing the way you're thinking about it, and it'll change the entire outlook on everything. And you might be surprised at how much better it becomes too. So,
For sure.
yes, sir. Well, I think we got that one pretty good. Had some decent questions, and I like when they all have overlap. It's kind of
Yeah.
nice.
It makes the conversation easier.
Yeah, yeah. Although a lot of questions we get are pretty similar in general, it seems like a lot of episodes end up having themes on them, which is
Hmm.
cool. So I think that's good. Um, for anybody that doesn't know, we collect questions on Instagram. Sometimes I make a post about it. I haven't been very good at being consistent about the way we do it. The only way we consistently do it is collecting on stories. So most of these come from Jessie's story and random comments that we catch on posts and
Hmm.
reels and stuff. If you want us to answer a question, reach out to us, DM, but especially look for the stories. We do have the Discord channel. It is available to join. I have a link up. I haven't started like building it out that much yet. I'm going to start having people kind of filter in there and figure out what we're going to do, and that'll be a place that we'll field questions from at some point as well. And yeah, if you guys like this, share it with a friend. You think we get something out of it? We're having some pretty good growth lately, and I am really appreciative of everybody that's been listening. And it's really cool to see this take off. One thing I've always known is you just keep moving forward and be consistent, or you just keep moving, and things will eventually go. So it's really cool. And Jesse's, no small part of this. So
Thanks, dude. With that, I guess just so I know, and maybe so everybody listening knows, the Discord link, is it just in your bio or is it in every
yes,
episode or how are you doing that?
it's in. I actually don't remember where I put it. So maybe that'd be a good thing to do. I put it somewhere at one point. So I will
This is
put
why I'm
it.
here.
I will put it either in my link tree on both of my Instagram accounts and everywhere you can possibly find it, or as a separate link. I hadn't. I remember thinking I was going to put it in the bio, say join our Discord, and I
Hmm.
didn't do that. That was my plan for the podcast, but you can find
Okay.
it by digging around, and which is I put it up, and that was about it. So
Can you
it
put
was.
it in the description? Like on
I,
Spotify, can't you link stuff? Or like I don't know
I
if
believe so.
Spotify's my main account.
I
So
believe so, and I probably would do that.
well, if
Yes,
you need
sir.
help, let me know. I'll pretend like I can help you.
As always, I appreciate you, Jesse, and I appreciate everybody for listening. And we'll see you next time. So.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.